A UCL computer science student looking to break into finance, banking, any advice? Get lots of work experience. I was originally training as a barrister and decided I didn't enjoy it. So get lots of work experience and read as much as you can. It is incredibly important that you really decide whether or not it's something you love. If you're doing it for the money, then do it for a short period of time, and that's fine. How important is networking? I hate networking. I am an introvert, but do you know how I do it? I learned a few secrets to networking. One, social media, LinkedIn is a form of networking. I get asked to do TEDx talks as a result of social media, not because of people I individually know. Second thing is join boards if you can. I joined the board of the United Nations Association when I was relatively young, Chatham House when I was relatively young, and that opened up doors because they get to see you and whether you're good or not at something. So networking is important, but there are ways of improving it and being good at it and sort of taking shortcuts. Try and get onto a stage if you can. Speak if you're able to, because if you can speak, then people will assume because you're on stage that you must have some degree of expertise and they'll want you. It's just easier to network because they'll come up to you instead of just walking around. Okay, spider behind you. There isn't a spider behind me, thank you. Have I ever paid for coaching? Yes, I have actually. And he was rather good. His surname's Chantry, C-H-A-N-T-R-Y, and he was rather good. I used him just, just in terms of getting me focused, and sometimes just talking to somebody helps. Email address is alpesh.patel@tradermind.com. If you look at the links in the bio, you should be able to find it through one of those as well. So have a look at those, and that might help as well. Have you seen big lawyers pivoting to PEVC? Yeah, I mean, lawyers, of course, can do anything. I was a lawyer myself, so that is worth looking at. If you are a lawyer, to move into those firms and move into the legal department first. Usually it's easier to get onto the board of a private equity firm if you've been a lawyer, because you sort of have your own stream, your own channel as it were, because you've got the legal channel. What would you invest in as a beginner? Probably if you're a total beginner, the S&P 500, because if I gave you the names of certain stocks, for argument's sake, JP Morgan, okay, which I own, or Warner Brothers that I own, or Disney that I own, or Microsoft, you're going to have to monitor them at least every 12 months, if nothing else. And so you might say, well, just give me ones which I can hold for 5 years. There's very few of those. So you're better off just having the S&P 500 most probably. Have you had media training? Yeah, when I was at Bloomberg Television, we would have somebody give us media television. They would give us media training rather. And one of the things I was advised was not to sit back like this because I had a big belly. To sit forward a little bit more and sit on the tails of your jacket and not wear certain colours and wear pastels and stuff like that. So yes, I've had media training, but most of it was just self-taught. Will you give me a student loan? Try not to take debt. Thoughts on physical gold? Gold Council says you should have about 5% in your portfolio. When I used to write for the Financial Times, my diary of an internet trader, then what would happen is I would research these things, and I remember from that time, gold was 5% in your portfolio is what you should have. Have I had therapy? Not that I'm aware of, but maybe I need it. Have I had therapy? Not that I'm aware of, but maybe I need it. No, I've not had therapy, but let me know if you think I should have it. Opinions on working in the broking industry. Is there a particular reason? You've got to choose. Why do you want to work in any industry? Fulfillment, fun, or funds, i.e. money. The younger you are, funds are going to be the most important. As you get older, fulfillment will become more important, and ideally fun along the way. So if it's for funds, money, that's fine. But if it's not giving you fulfillment, then worry. What's the OBE for? Services to the economy. I've helped bring in quite a few jobs into the United Kingdom by having companies relocate their headquarters into the United Kingdom and hire people here and then help those companies go global. Physics degree in finance. I wish I had studied physics. I did physics at A-level. I wish I did it at university. I think I would have done well in finance, but physics was just, very mathematical, and I did maths A-level and even got the prize, but it was another level for me. I don't think I could have done it. Alibaba, yeah or nay? I need to look at it again. I've got a couple of Chinese stocks. I'm trying to think which ones they are at the moment. It'll come to me in a second and I'll name it. No, I don't know the individual you're talking about. Why did you stop being a lawyer? I wasn't enjoying it. What happened is I felt that I always wanted to be self-employed. So a barrister is self-employed. But I got the impression that as a barrister, I wasn't going to be self-employed. I was going to be beholden to solicitors. And I wasn't finding the work something which was making me passionate. I was spending my time in the law library preparing for a case. I would be spending more time talking to the broker, because in those days you spoke to brokers, finding options prices on trades that I had opened than I was doing the law. And I just thought, hang on, I prefer investing. And I was willing to invest. As well. Is crypto a myth? We'll find out. Blockchain isn't a myth, but crypto, we'll find out. I mean, crypto is like modern art. You know, you ask me about modern art, I know nothing about modern art other than some of it keeps its value and some of it doesn't. Well, crypto is probably the same. Thoughts on Monte Carlo simulation and walk forward? Well, you've got to do walk forward analysis. Monte Carlo simulation is just one way. It has certain flaws statistically. Usually the bigger problem is there's just not enough data that you're looking at, and statisticians will tell you need a lot more data to draw conclusions and have high levels of confidence. But walk forward testing is very important when you're looking at strategies in trading. Is a master's in business management worth it? I'd need to know more. All other things being equal, it depends on the cost of it, but yeah, if you can get it cheap enough. AI play, Microsoft and Nvidia, I own both. What age did you stop being a lawyer? Oh, good question. Was I 23, 24? Something like that. 23 or 24. I was relatively young. Best platform for investing. As long as they're regulated, so in the UK, FCA regulated, then you should be fine with all of them. They all charge much of a muchness. What's my net worth? Well, I always say, my mum says I'm priceless. My wife sometimes says I'm worthless. I'm somewhere in between the two. Degree in statistics, where do I fit into finance? Very well, I would have thought, with a degree in statistics. Look at hedge funds like AHL, Winton Capital, Aspect, Brevin Howard, that all love statisticians. Which entry-level jobs do you offer in your hedge fund firm? At the moment, I don't think we're hiring. We're deciding whether or not to launch another fund because we've exited all our investments on the private equity side. So we have a hedge fund and a private equity fund on the asset management company, and we're just deciding whether we want a capital raise. And I hate capital raising, and I don't think I want to. Invesco's EQQQ. Well, the triple cube is NASDAQ. What's the E part of it? Remind me, I can't remember whether it meant something special, but on the NASDAQ, yeah, I'm long NASDAQ at the moment. I don't have a problem with NASDAQ companies and NASDAQ this year. Do you think the market will continue to climb, or is this just a dead cat bounce? Well, whilst I'm long, and I've got about 80% of my capital now invested, unlike 80% in cash last year, I also see a lot of reasons to be cautious. So I think it's going to be one of those where it will rise, but expect some pullbacks and sharp pullbacks along the way. So make sure they're the kind of stocks which you don't mind holding if the market were to fall 10-15%. Best degrees for working in finance. Well, I've got degrees in law and degree in philosophy, politics and economics, and I'm in finance. So it's really, I think the best degree is the one which you could excel at and you're going to enjoy because you'll do best at it. Views on real estate, I'm not an expert, but my family are, and they always believe in bricks and mortar. Is it possible to transition from investment research in wealth management to hedge fund? Yeah. I mean, I'm often asked, can I transition from X to Y? Look at the people at the firms you want to work in on LinkedIn, see their qualifications, see which names keep coming up, and then make a decision based on that. Current AUM of the private equity side, it's very low. We are below 100 million euros, just below 100 million euros. It's nothing. I mean, you might want to switch off now and say you're pathetic. It's taken 17 years for me to get there. I didn't grow up with a silver spoon in my mouth, but I had to knock on a lot of doors with ultra high net worths and family offices, and it took a long time. Have I considered getting into politics? I was asked in January of last year, and I said no. I was told I'd be offered a seat which was winnable, was in London, and whatever I wanted, and a route to cabinet. And I turned it down because, have you seen what happens? Who wants that? You seem like a Tory. No, I'm a Marxist. I think that the bourgeoisie are causing a matrix-like illusion amongst the working classes who will eventually break through their chains and break free and cause a revolution. When did you start with private equity? Private equity 2008. Can you imagine the worst possible time? Because of course it was, well, what was it? I studied sociology. No, I did not. I studied philosophy, politics and economics and law, and I have A-levels in maths, physics and chemistry. What was 2022 returns? They were saved by sterling US dollar trade. And I don't think I should include that because that's sort of cheating. Other than that, we were down on equities. We were on the long equity side, not the hedge fund side, just the long equity portfolio, which is what I share with people. And my results are audited by an independent company, and you can see it on ShareScope. If you go to ShareScope, you'll see my results since 2004 in UK equities. US tends to do twice as well as the US, as you will know. As the UK, as you will know, and so do we. We just mimic what the broader market does for the US stock picks compared to the UK, and you can see the UK results audited by an FT award-winning software company called ShareScope. So they've been doing that since 2004. How old were you when you started private equity? I don't know, how old was I in 2008? Under 40. In my 30s. Respect for my honesty. Well, what can I tell you? I'm a failure in many ways. Remember, in my industry, if you don't have $1 billion under management, you're nobody. We don't have that yet. Hopefully I'll get that one day. You might say, well, why do you want $1 billion under management when it's not going to be your money, it's client money? Well, because in my business, that's the thing. If I was a runner, it'd be, can I run, you know, the mile in under 3 minutes? Or is it 4 minutes? 3 minutes. And similarly, so it's just a number. Did I go to university? I did. I went to 3 different universities, in actual fact. So yeah, am I Gujarati? I am indeed. I'm a very proud Gujarati. Greed. No, it's actually not greed. It's a number that, I mean, it's like saying, are athletes greedy? Are sportsmen greedy? Everybody's greedy. Politicians are greedy. Your parents are greedy because they wanted something good for you in your life. And they worked hard for it, I'm assuming. Is politics a dirty game? I believe so. I mean, Nicola Sturgeon said it. She said it's a dirty game, so I think you're right. But then again, I mean, politics is like Twitter, 24/7. You know, all the dirt that comes out on social media, that's politics. And I don't want to be in politics for that reason. Who needs it? As my grandmother said, who needs it? What A-levels did I do? Maths, physics, chemistry. I got the prize in all 3 of them. I'm proud to say. Alpesh, you did a good job. Thank you very much. Do hedge fund managers use technical analysis for their decisions? It depends on the fund. So if you look at, say, Winton, if you look at AHL, they're sort of using technicals in the sense that they're looking for momentum. Okay, so they're looking for trends. They're trend following funds. And because they're trend following funds, you might use technicals to find it, others might use statistics. Technicals is just a clever word for statistics. How did I get my OBE? Services to the economy, bringing jobs into the United Kingdom. Am I a Hindu? I try to be. How influential are university names on your application? Very influential, I'm afraid. Imagine you've got to sift, like anything in life, if you've got to sift a large number of anything, you've got to find ways of reducing the number you've got to sift. So that's one of them. Full Neck. Somebody else went to Full Neck. Thank you. It's where I went to school. I went to Armley Middle School and Full Neck Boys School. Well, what is better, private equity or venture capital? Depends what you enjoy more. I don't enjoy private equity, by the way. My partners take care of the private equity side. Private equity, we invest in healthcare. We invest in knee replacement technology. We invest in spinal implant technology. These are things which are important. Clean tech, wind farms we invest in. I couldn't care less. I don't find it interesting. I don't know why I don't find it interesting. You know what I find interesting? If I can sell Microsoft stock at the click of a button, I love it. Because see, with private equity, we used to have to we used to have a lovely girl called Kanira Shah working for us. We used to send her up windmills in wind farms in Romania, which we'd invested in just to make sure the things are moving. I mean, I don't want to do that. I want to sit in my warm room and click a button and exit a trade. So my partners take care of private equity because that's where the money was. I'll let you into a secret. Asset management, I'll let you into 2 secrets you don't know. Asset management is one about marketing. It's marketing. It's how people get their money, assets under management. That's where you see the big adverts, okay? That's the first thing. The second little secret about asset management I'll let you into is that you're a glorified plumber. You're hired by very rich people, whether they are pension funds or family offices, to do something they don't want to do themselves. In this case, pick stocks or whatever else. And you might say, well, you've got an expertise. Well, so does my plumber. So does my mum used to be an NHS nurse. So does my mum as a nurse. She has expertise. We just get paid disproportionately more than we should, just as a footballer for kicking around a leather bag of air gets paid more than they should, but they do. Is underwriting a good career path? I believe insurance generally is rather a good career path. Have a look at efinancialcareers.com, efinancialcareers.com, and you will see a heck of a lot of useful information there. There's another one called 80,000 hours. It is amazing in terms of the kinds of new jobs you can have which are meaningful and purposeful, like at the UN, like at some major foundations and so on. Opinions of Warwick University, my sister went there, my business partner went there, and they're both very good at what they do. So I rate Warwick as well. Will going to LSE for a master's help my undergrad? Yeah, I think so. I think it will. What did you start off as? Well, I used to be a waiter. Summer jobs, I've been a waiter. I used to clean toilets in that role, because once you finished at 3 in the morning at a nightclub, you sort of get washing and cleaning. Thoughts on economics at Exeter? Look, do you enjoy it? Why do you want to do it? If you enjoy it, then go for it. You know, it's nothing at no problem at all to do it. You're Indian, I'm British and by nationality and Indian by ethnicity. So the DNA testing says. What are target unis? We'll look to see what is. We'll look to see, you know, what your results are and everything else, and give you a fair chance in the industry. Opinion on Quilter International, not looked at it recently. I'm Indian but poor. Exit paths for insurance, actuary or corporate finance. Actuary if you enjoy it. Thoughts on Citadel? Well, they do rather well, don't they? As well. Where do you buy your suits? Oh, this is not a suit, it's just a jacket. I don't know where I got this. I tried, you know, should I tell you something? Okay, I'm going to let you into a little secret. Recently, I have only ever been buying stuff if it's on sale. Why waste the money paying full price if you don't have to? So I try and get stuff on sale unless I really need it. Even though the sales aren't what they used to be. I've decided as I get older that I don't actually need new stuff, because the old stuff you accumulate, don't you? So there you go. Somebody's asked why actuary. Well, they're good at maths, aren't they? So if you're good at maths, you've got transferable skills into things which are somewhat future-proof. S&P over FTSE, even though the FTSE's been doing crazy. Best way to start investing? Well, have a look at some of the links in my bio. I've put a whole load of free materials there, including free books. So I'd recommend doing that. How often do you travel abroad for work? I used to travel 10 times a year. I used to be on the board of India's largest bank's wealth management division. So India's largest private bank is non-state-owned bank is ICICI Bank. So I used to sit on the board of their wealth management part, their private banking division rather. And they'd fly me out for the day. Would you believe this? I mean, given that I grew up in Armley, Leeds, my grandmother thought it was insane. I would take the 10 p.m. flight to India, do the board meeting that afternoon, say 2 till 5, and then take the to India, do the board meeting that afternoon, say 2 till 5, and then take the 1 a.m. flight back to the UK and land on the Thursday. So go out on the Tuesday night, come back on the Thursday morning. I'd only be gone Wednesday and nobody would even know I'd flown out. I used to do a lot of that kind of stuff, but not so much now. I've got a son who's 5 years old and sleeping upstairs, so not much of that going on in terms of travel. What about Rolls-Royce stock? Not had a look at it recently. I can have a look. When I get names of stocks from people on these kinds of conversations, I do tend to then have a look at them. How do I get investor relation role in a hedge fund? Apply, look at the people who are already doing it. I have a very good friend who used to have that role at Brevin Howard, a lady called Sunena Sinha, and she helped raise, I think, a few billion for them. So just see who's got that role on LinkedIn, see their qualifications. LinkedIn's a fantastic resource for finding out qualifications that you might want to have and what people are writing and thinking at the firms you want to be at. Do your research on there. Which hedge fund do you manage and thinking at the firms you want to be at? Do your research on there. Which hedge fund do you manage? The very first fund, I'll start at the beginning, in 2004 that I launched, it was called Excalibur. And we had a whole Arthur and the Round Table sort of theme to it. And the idea was you'd call the first one Excalibur, maybe the next one would be called Guinevere, and so on. Life doesn't work out the way you want it to. So I'll tell you, and nobody weeps for hedge fund managers. So I tell you what happened 2008 financial crisis, and it was Cayman domiciled. So it was a British asset management company, Cayman domiciled. We had to close it because and make it transfer the money into managed accounts, because Cayman became a dirty word. So you couldn't raise capital by being in Cayman anymore, whereas before you could, and you couldn't after 2008 raise capital anyway. And our prime broker was Bear Stearns, and they went bust. So, you know, sometimes life does look easy when you're watching these videos. It's somebody, and you know, it sounds like, oh God, they must have had it easy, landed on their feet. And I've been incredibly fortunate. But if I told you the horror stories that I've been through professionally and personally, none of you would swap places with me. You might tonight, if you didn't have to go. But if I said you've got to go through 40 years of what I've been through, I guarantee you there's not a single one of you who'd swap places with me. You'd say, screw that, mate. I'm fine where I am. So don't be fooled into thinking just because today's fine. What's my purpose? To teach as many people as possible about investing, because I know about investing. It's the main thing I know about, and make sure as many people as I can touch, as it were, breathe easier because I've existed. Do you like St James's Place? No, I don't. And and the reason is I get a lot of people complaining about them and the fees that they've charged and the poor performance they've delivered, like so many wealth managers, I'm afraid. And those complaints really annoy me. Best ETF to invest in, probably the S&P 500. If you're a complete beginner and I just don't know anything else, somebody, you know, if a family member puts a gun to my head and said, what should I invest in? I say, look, that. Because if I give them a stock, then they might forget, and 5 years later they come back and say, that stock did really well for the first 1 year, then 3 years later it crashed, and I go, well, you should have got rid of it then, shouldn't you? So I just say S&P 500 is best for most. I do 2 times leverage on S&P 500 for this year personally, but that's leverage and you shouldn't do that. Do companies hire economics graduates right out of LSE? Yeah, but why do you not know this? Do you not have a careers fair at LSE? LSE is supposed to be good and they should be able to tell you that. Do companies hire economics graduates right out of LSE? Yep. It's all going to shit. Well, oh, listen, that's an important point. There's a scene in Aaron Sorkin's Newsroom where a woman stands up and she says, why is America the greatest country in the world? And the journalist on stage rips into her and says it isn't. It's rubbish because of the number of prisoners, the number of people they incarcerate, the racism, the violence against women, the number of people they hang, all of these reasons, he says to her. Then about a year later, there's a new part in that program and she comes for an internship. And he says to her, you're the idiot who asked me why is America the greatest country in the world? And he goes, right, you idiot, ask me again. And she turns to him and she goes, why is America the greatest country in the world? And he says to her, because of you. The damn fool optimist in denial. Those who are the optimists, those who believe that it's not all going to shit, those who believe, despite whatever the data, that they can make a difference and make it better, they're the ones who make a country great. Because I'll tell you something, nobody ever made a country great by saying, this country's shit. It just doesn't happen. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever made a humanity greater by saying, you know what, people are just awful. They're just rubbish. The people who lifted humanity and did something better in the world were always the ones who said, I think there's good in people, and I'm going to find it, and I'm going to elevate them. Whether it's a Mandela, or a Gandhi, or whoever you believe, whether it's a Christ or a Muhammad, whoever you believe, they didn't do it by saying humans are just worthless. They did it by seeing something better. What's my funds AM? I said that already, which is it's pathetically small, so let's just go over it. You're optimistic, huh? Well, if you're not, all the data suggests the optimists are the ones who have more fulfilling, happier, successful lives, I'm afraid. So even if you don't want to be an optimist because you're a cynic, it might just be worth betting on optimism because it'll make you more fulfilled and happy. Unless, of course, you want to be congenitally depressed. Business journalism or investment banking as a career. Investment banking pays more. You'll only ever do anything in life for funds, i.e. money, fun, or fulfillment. All right? Those are the 3 reasons. So choose your careers based on those 3, and you'll switch. If you can get all 3, you're laughing. You've got the best job in the world. Who's the best, PM or POTUS? I'm biased. Do you see interest rates going down? Well, I've been speaking to a few people on that. I do see them settling down in the bond markets, which was what will influence, obviously, mortgage rates, and I do see interest rates going down probably next year, though, next year. But not much. They're not going to go back to 0% ever again. The banks need that firepower of having them at 4% before they can reduce them in case of economic emergency. Do you have LinkedIn? Yep, the links are in the bio. If you want to see my campaignforamillion.com, free tools to teach 1 million people how to be better investors. And by the way, if you're wondering why I do that, I mean, I joke. I say Elon Musk is on Twitter, so I'm on TikTok. The reason I do it is because as you get older, you've got most of like, I'm a teetotal vegetarian. I mean, what am I gonna do with an extra pair of trousers? Or can't spend the money on wine, women, and dance. I'm married, so I can't spend it on women. Can't spend it on dance. I'm rubbish at dancing. Can't spend it on wine because I'm teetotal. Can't spend it on food because I'm already fat and I'm vegetarian. So leaving a legacy by having a group of people give me the dopamine hit of saying, hey, I saw the free book, your free book you allow us to download, or I saw the education you're giving. That's really great. Thank you. That's all I've got. That's all you got. You know, that's what it is. Will the Academy grow in the future? It will. Next year. It'll grow. Yeah. What do you think of crypto? I think it's like modern art. Crypto is like modern art. Don't forget to follow me, please. I'm at 100,000 followers on TikTok. Can you believe it? Shall I tell you something funny? You know TikTok's good for business. I've got 100,000 followers on TikTok. I've had 3 requests for TEDx talks, and I've got a talk at the Financial Times coming up. Now, I used to write for the Financial Times as a columnist, and my books are published by the Financial Times. But my point is this. I think the TikTok followers had something to do with it. So there you are, with all your degrees, Alpesh, and I used to be a visiting fellow at Oxford University, and all that qualifications, and the accent and all the rest of it. But it's the 100,000 followers on TikTok, which is what the world's about. That's what gets you noticed. I want to get to 1 million, but there you go. If you could change one thing about myself besides the obvious, what would it be? Lose weight. Lose weight. Soul down boss. I know, mate, it's just all gone downhill. I can't dance. I sort of can. I dance for my son and I dance for my wife. Do a TED talk. I've not been invited by TED. I've got TEDx. I've done one TEDx talk called "If You're So Clever, Why Aren't You Rich?" And it goes into the details of why clever people, like most of you, I assume, don't make the money you should make in your lives. Do you think Russia will win the war? No. Bro, with all that money, get a good personal trainer. I've got a personal trainer. Her name's Gosh. But she's not the problem. I just don't have them. I just don't, to train. And she used to come to my offices and we'd train outside. It requires that determination to want to do it the way I want to do investing. And I just don't have it, and I've got to get the mental state right. My wife sent me to a fat farm in Austria, for a week called Viva Maya, and it was amazing. I lost 10 kilos in 6 months. She only sent me for a week, but the benefits carried on, and I felt so happy having lost that weight. So it's the one thing which makes me miserable is my weight. What's the TEDx called? If You're So Clever, Why Aren't You Rich? So if you search under my name, you'll find the TEDx on there as well. And the Financial Times event that I'm doing, you can see it on there on the Investors Chronicle website. I've also put it on my Telegram. You're all welcome and invited to come along. Water fasting I need to do. I know, that's the thing, mate. I know what I need to do. It's like most things in life. I'm not short of ideas on how to lose weight. I know. It's doing it. It's the problem. It's doing it. A signet ring? I don't think I've got a signet ring. I haven't got a signet ring. Oh, it's a ruby. It's I'll tell you a story about that. So when I was 13, I wasn't doing too well in my exams. My family were told by a priest that were I to wear a ruby on this ring, I think originally it was a garnet and then a ruby, that I would do better. I topped my exams a few years later, every subject pretty much, and got the prizes for best performance, maths, physics, chemistry, all the rest of it. I haven't taken, well, I've changed the ring obviously, but I haven't taken a ruby off that finger since, and it's been a hell of a lot longer. So that's the reason why I don't play golf, I'm afraid. We didn't have the money when I was at school to be able to afford golf clubs, so sorry, don't play golf. I grew up in Armley in Leeds, Kellett Lane, if you know it, and also in in Armley. We used to live on Paisley Avenue, and then after that a place called Callett Lane, which is outside of Armley. Wortley. Tips for beginner investors. Have a look at the links in my bio at alpeshpatel, and have a look at alpeshpatel.com/links. You can download a free copy of my books as well. Classic Leeds accent. When I go up north, accent comes back. All right. 3 best stocks in 2023. I don't know individually, so I can't give you stock advice, but you know, it's safe for me to say Microsoft, Apple and Amazon, isn't it? What would you recommend for someone who got a 2-2 at uni? Look, it's happened, you've got it. So then move into what you're going to enjoy and what will give you, you know, plan a strategy. You need money, I'm assuming. Okay, so plan a strategy of getting into finance. It might be that you start at a mid-tier brokerage firm who won't care so much about the 2-2. And then you work your way up into wealth management, asset management, and then go to the big firms. Which is more profitable career, long-term private equity or hedge fund? I wouldn't do either personally. I've never enjoyed private equity at all, I'm afraid. I hated it. And I discovered I hated it and created a prison for myself. And beware what you wish for in life. By creating an asset management company, I created a prison for myself, because then you've got staff, you've got compliance, you've got regulations, you've got flights out to Switzerland to discuss stamp duty with your auditors and accountants. And do you want to do that? No, I don't. No, Luxembourg, not Switzerland, Luxembourg, to discuss stamp duty with Ernst & Young for a couple of hours, and you're like, and you're waking up at 4 a.m. to catch the flight, and it all sounds glamorous when you're 16, but when you're in your 30s and doing it, and I'm no longer in my 30s, it's not. So just be careful, think through what you wish for, you know. Not that you're going to feel sorry for me, yeah. How will UK compete with EU, China, United States? How will UK compete with EU, China, United States? I think we'll do it on deep science, and I think what we'll look to do is commercialize more of the inventions and the intellectual property that we produce. I'll tell you something which you might not know. The wealth of nations is directly correlated to the amount of intellectual property they produce. So America produces a disproportionately large amount of intellectual property, happens to be a very wealthy country, but they commercialize that intellectual property. India doesn't commercialize it very well. Britain doesn't commercialize it very well. The ideas tend to get sold off, but we can invent things like graphene and so on. UK will compete, not by you and me. We're mediocre, okay? We're on TikTok on Thursday today? Thursday evening. It'll be the graphene scientists and those type. If that can get commercialized, and those companies grow and pay taxes here rather than abroad, then that's the way we'll compete. So it's not written in stone, okay? It's not guaranteed that we'll compete, but there's a lot of people with goodwill who want to make sure we compete and we win, and we're doing all we can to make that happen. Is applied maths a good degree for finance? Yes, it is. Anything mathematical is very good for finance. Can't you afford hair? No, mate, I can't, but thank you. Remember, you're revealing your character, and your character will determine your destiny. Is applied maths? Yes. Is accounting a good degree? Yeah, if you enjoy it, then go for it. I wouldn't say do the degree for the jobs it can get you, though that is an important factor. Think of an algorithm. Any decision you make in life is always going to be an algorithm. It's going to be what factors are important and how important are they. Everything in life, from who do you marry to where do you go out for dinner to what career should you have. It is all about what's important, how important is it. So when it comes to accountancy, what are the important factors for you, and how important are they? See, for me, I wouldn't want to do accountancy because I hate accounting. So it isn't a good degree for me. Does religion play a big part in your life? I think if faith is the most important thing to you above family and fidelity to country, then you're a fanatic. So I would put faith below fidelity to country. In other words, my country first and my family first. Will China be number one? Well, it's number 2 in population and number 1 in, number 1 in exports, balance of payments. What do you think about earning potential? Oh, I missed that. What would your advice for a doctor? Go private and do plastic surgery, mate, in Miami. If you're a doctor, emigrate to Miami and start doing plastic surgery. I think there's going to be a demand for it. Hang around people. I was at a restaurant tonight, and the number of 20-somethings doing this for Instagram or whatever, you're going to have a lot of money for people wanting plastic surgery. So what are you, British or Indian? I'm British Indian. My nationality is British, and I was born in Leeds, and I'm Indian by ethnic origin. If you cut this vein, it bleeds Indian. What's your advice for an entrepreneur? Have a look at techtogreat.com. I created this site, it's completely free, which shows you all the funding sources in the UK, from grants to incubators to accelerators, VCs, angel funding, seed funding, and how to do pitch deck. It'll save you a hell of a lot of time, and I created it because I got a lot of people asking me. I co-founded the UK chapter of the world's largest entrepreneur mentoring organization called TIE, T-I-E. Have a look at tie.org. Am I vegan? Yes, I am. Which you might find somewhat surprising, because I've been on this TikTok now for about 40 minutes, and I didn't mention I'm vegan, and vegans usually mention it several times in every 40-minute cycles. How can we be friends? How can we be friends? I'm rubbish. I hardly have any friends. My wife will tell you that. I probably have 4 or 5 friends, people I'd call friends. Yeah, one of them's flying in from Dubai tomorrow. Paresh, Pan, Nish, crap, it's 4, 5 more. Bhikkhu, 5. So, never ask a man who doesn't like having friends. Do you only drink water? No, I should drink water. I should drink a lot more water. Top advice, sleep more, drink more water. The 2 magic bullets. Learn public speaking and learn how to write well. The secrets to success, and get yourself on stage. The secrets to success in taking shortcuts in life. Learn how to write well. So read Shooting an Elephant by George Orwell. Learn how to speak well. So learn and get on stage whenever you can. You know, when they do these events, so get an expertise, a niche expertise, which is yours. Buy me an RS7. Why do you want an RS7? I got a bicycle. My bicycle, by the way, cost £100. People say, why don't you buy an expensive bike? Well, because it get nicked. Am I a millionaire? Does it matter? I think you can work it out. How much caffeine do you consume? 0, next to 0. Although I drink tea, and that has caffeine. I stopped drinking coffee because I discovered it makes you tired. It gives you a bump, but then it makes you very tired, so I don't drink coffee anymore either. Is A-level economics a waste of time? No. What degree did you do? I have 3 degrees, like the pop group. 1 is in law, 1 is in philosophy, politics and economics, and 1 is in the degree of utter barrister. Being a barrister is a degree, and it sounds really tossy and arrogant, forgive me. But yeah, I'm proud and my parents are proud. How many trades a month should I make? None, probably, if you're asking me, because 60% of people lose money trading, so don't do any. I've just saved you a load of money, because all the data I've got at the moment is 60% lose money, and you're asking me how many trades you should do, so I'm playing the odds. You should do none. Do I trade Forex? Yes. If you follow me on LinkedIn, and you can see the links in the bio, or alpeshpatel.com/links, you'll know that I did that massive sterling US dollar trade, and I kept talking about it and banging on about it, and people should do it, and follow it all the way up, and it was a once in a generation thing. Best thing for an 18-year-old to invest in themselves, and it's a cliche, your own education. Read as much as you can, spend as much time, invest in creating your time so you can learn as much as possible about public speaking and writing well, and about what interests you. If investing interests you, you should know about investing, even if it doesn't interest you. Have a look at my campaign for $1 million as well. What are the most respected, what respected careers in my opinion? My mum was an NHS nurse. I think I respect that a hell of a lot, because I respect my mum a hell of a lot. What should I put my 50 grand into? Can't give you financial advice, it'd be a criminal offence. What is your diet and exercise like? Well, I've got a personal trainer who gets me doing press-ups, which I couldn't do a few years ago. I couldn't do press-ups, can you believe it? I was that weak. I used to run a lot more than I do now, and cycle a lot more, but now most of my exercise regime is this, sort of eating food from hand to mouth, sadly. I need to exercise a lot more. Criminal offence, how? Well, it's illegal for me to give individual financial advice to people who I don't know. What did my father do? My father left school at 16. He used to deliver cars when he first came to Britain, and worked in a metal bashing company, for want of a better term, and eventually taught himself about dye manufacturing, went to India, opened a dye manufacturing company which produced copper phthalocyanide blue. That company is now floated on the Mumbai Stock Exchange, and he recently sold out his final lot of shares, and mine and everyone else's in the family. The company's called Ishan Dyes. It's on the Mumbai Stock Exchange, ISHAAN. It's an Indian unicorn. That's my dad. No formal education whatsoever. They thought he was a PhD because he knew more about producing copper phthalocyanide blue than anyone else. The factory's in Ahmedabad in Gujarat. If you were young again, would you go to uni or something else? You know, I've got a 5-year-old son, and my wife said we're pretty relaxed whether he goes to university or not. My best friend didn't go to university. He left school at 16, and he is financially ridiculously successful and happy, more than the people who went to university. And so I think now I think I'd go, because think about the kind of person I am. I'm pretty academic. You know, I'm not a street hustler sort of, you know, I'd get ripped off if I went on the street. So somebody like me better go to university, whereas others shouldn't. They don't need to. Lend you a tenner, okay. What degree is the most useful to you and why? Philosophy, politics and economics, because it was 3 subjects. When I did the BBC newspaper reviews, I'm often asked, you know, questions on politics, and I can draw in economics and philosophy, legal philosophy, political philosophy. So that breadth of knowledge that comes from having a multi-disciplinary degree was really useful for when I do the BBC stuff or the paper reviews or I'm public speaking. I don't have a CFA. To be honest, I don't think I could have passed part 2 and 3. I'm afraid. Should I tell you some funny thing? I can hire people with CFAs. Am I Gujarati? I am. Could you give, missed that, thoughts on NHS and how to fix it? My friend, if I could fix the NHS, sadly, I think more technology and more money. More money because a happy workforce produces more, but I think technology has to be the answer, I'm afraid, to everything. Nuclear fusion for the climate. How do I fix the climate? Nuclear fusion. Spend a fortune on it. Am I single? Asking for a friend. Oh, thank you, Jasmine. How very polite. I thought I was well past that age where any friend would be interested. No, I'm married to a wonderful lady who, for the British government, is the global head of the venture capital unit. She helps bring in billions of pounds into the country from sovereign wealth funds abroad, and she does that for the British government. What's your estimate net worth? My mum says I'm priceless, mate. I'm worth more than the Kohinoor, says my mum. Best funds to invest in, probably S&P 500 if we're starting with nothing. Future in fintech, yes. Have a look at fintech. Get the skills you need. Shall I tell you what I think is probably one of the most important skills at the moment? I've already told you, public speaking and being able to write well. Shall I tell you the next best, most important skill? How to ask ChatGPT the correct prompt to make you bloody good. Okay, and I'll tell you why. I was asked by a member of the House of Lords if I'd help with a TEDx talk that this person in Parliament was giving. I broke it down, gave the structure, everything within 5 minutes, and she couldn't believe it. And I did it thanks to ChatGPT. So I'd probably say that's a skill. The ability to know what to ask it, and that will get you ahead in a job, because you don't need to tell them that's what you did. That, public speaking and how to write well, there are certain things humans are going to need to know as well. So honestly, the ChatGPT thing, people are underestimating it. I just clocked this guy won't hell no one but his own people. I don't know what he's saying. He's getting into wealth management after graduating. Worth it. I'm going to repeat this because a lot of you will have come on. I think we've got 463 people now. Please follow. If you follow me, I'll love you forever. And I'll tell you why I want you to follow me. You might think, well, why do you want us to follow you? Over 100,000 followers. Financial Times, through Investors Chronicle, which they own, wrote an article about my TikTok account. A positive article. That's media coverage I got just because of you guys following me. In Investors Chronicle, which in my industry means something, it's Financial Times publication. I've been asked for multiple TEDx talks just because of the number of followers. My degree won't get me that, okay? On that. So, yeah, do follow. And have a look at the links in the bio. If you look at the links in the bio, you can download a free copy of my book, Mind of a Trader. I'll tell you another little secret, how I hustled to get ahead in life. I, at university, had no background in finance. I didn't have any family members in finance. We didn't know anybody in finance. I grew up in Leeds. So how the hell do I, who wants to trade, how do I get to meet the world's leading traders? So I approached 10 of them, actually approached about 20 of them, and said, look, if you agree to be interviewed, the Financial Times will publish a book. And I approached the Financial Times and said, look, if you publish the book, these guys have agreed to be interviewed. And it worked. And I got to meet those people like Bill Lipschutz, global head of foreign exchange trading at Salomon Brothers, Bernard Opity, billionaire hedge fund manager. Anyway, and the Financial Times published the book, Mind of a Trader, and you can download it for free from the links in my bio because I don't need the royalties now. So the Financial Times published it, became an international bestseller. While I was being interviewed for the follow-on book by the Financial Times called Trading Online, because when you get a first successful book, you get asked to do a second one, and I was only still a student, the global head of Bloomberg TV happened to watch the interview of me on CNN. TV happened to watch the interview of me on CNN and said, would you like your own TV show because you're an expert in an area? So I'll let you into a secret. I found the right mentors by getting the book deal, which I got by saying to them, you'll be in the Financial Times, and they agreeing. And that opened doors and built my networks to the world's biggest hedge fund managers, who then taught me how to trade, which then meant I could set up my own hedge fund. That was the hustle. That's what happened. There's the secret. And of course, by the time you're my age, you don't mind telling the world. Everybody loves it. They go, oh, wow. Of course, I wouldn't have told people when I was in my 20s that that's how I did it, but that's how I did it. So that's how I did it. So follow me. I'll give you more tips on just the art of the hustle when you're young, because I had to do it and I didn't have anything. So that's how I did it. I got that done. And there'll be different ways now. But there is an element of Forrest Gump luck, which is, if I hadn't been doing that interview on CNN, the global head of TV, Catherine Oliver at Bloomberg Television, wouldn't have happened to have seen me and given me the role on Bloomberg TV, which raised my profile. If you can do anything to raise your profile, even if it's just TikTok or LinkedIn articles, that allows you a lot of options. So for me, it meant I could raise finance for my fund because I didn't have rich friends. So the profile in the paper meant people were willing to invest. I told you, asset management's a marketing business. Because they were willing to invest, of course you've got to deliver on the results. So that was it. That's how it was done. And there was a secret to it, and it was a bit of a hustle, and you had to be smart. It wasn't just, oh, just work hard, work hard. Screw that, it's bloody difficult. I didn't have an edge just to work hard on. So that's how I did it. What is private equity? We invest in private companies like healthcare companies or wind farms, and then we sell them to people who want to pay more for it than we bought them for after we've helped them grow. How much money do I make? I pay myself £12,000 a year in salary. What do I do if I don't know what I want to do at uni? You know, a lot of people don't know. And what I would say is, you got to do, one of the other secrets to life is self-analysis. What do you love? That's what you want to ask yourself. What do you absolutely love? And then try and work that out. Because if you follow that route, hopefully it will hit one of the 3 F's of success in life. Funds, it'll give you money, it'll give you fun, and it'll give you fulfillment. And if you get those, you'll be rich as hell. Okay? Pay myself 12k a year. Yep, that's what I do. Finance people are greedy. I was once told, I've been told this many times, I lack the greed gene. I just don't have that killer instinct for greed. Like I said before, I'm a teetotal vegetarian. Ugh, what am I going to spend the money on? Literally tell me. What am I going to spend it on? I have a £100 bicycle. It gets me to work in 15 minutes. So what the hell am I going to spend it on? A private jet isn't going to get me any faster to work, is it? Yes, I'm Gujarati, I still am. I need to leave my current role as FS auditor. What do you suggest? The pay is abhorrent. Now's probably a good time to send out your CVs. I sent out 100 CVs for jobs as a barrister, and I got 2 offers. So send it out and never be put off by the fact that so many said no. Phoning the club now for a breach of phone usage rules. Do you like any luxury or sports cars? I've got a £100 bicycle. Luxury or sports cars? What do I like? The Ferrari California. I actually love the Ferrari California. You stop at a petrol station, the guy next to you will just break into conversation and say, do you want to swap, mate? You put the roof down Piccadilly Circus and random strangers might even applaud. It's ridiculous. but buy a boat. I can't swim. What am I going to do with a boat? Drown. Any chance for an interview? Have you met Andrew Tate? No. What? Do I look like I'm in a Romanian prison? What about traveling? Okay, that's a great question. Somebody said you need money to travel. How much is an EasyJet flight? Why do I need to kill myself to earn money to travel when I can get to, on an EasyJet flight for 100 quid, I can get to, I'll let you into another little secret, Venice. Venice is one of the cheapest flights to get from London to anywhere in Europe. It's one of the cheapest, and Venice is just beautiful. It's gorgeous. You can just keep going there. Okay, I love Bali and Ubud. You don't need a lot of money nowadays for any of that stuff. So I'm not actually greedy. It wouldn't have anything to do with it. I'm chairman of, or co-chairman of the Lumbar Trust, which looks after widows and orphans. So fundraising, I'm greedy for other people. Do I use EasyJet? Yeah, I'm going to Marrakesh, and my sister's booked me on EasyJet. I don't normally use EasyJet, but she's booked me on EasyJet. And I got the extra legroom seats because you could get those in priority boarding. Yeah. Bali and Ubud. Oh, I've done Bali many times. I've done Maldives. I've done Andaman Islands. I haven't done Bora Bora. I guess I should do Bora Bora. Why don't you fly business or first class? To Marrakesh, because we're going on a family trip, and the rest of my family, well, what do you suggest? That they all fly first class? They're not going to waste that kind of money, mate. What's your thoughts on prop funds? If they're good, they're good. Just tell me more. Do I go to India? I used to go 8 times a year. I have a role with the British government where I look for technology companies from India to headquarter in the UK. So I go about 8 times a year. I'm from a small village called Karamsad. I was born in Leeds, I should say. But I'm from an ancestral village called Karamsad, which is near Anand, and I try and visit that when I can. Does being a vegetarian boost your brain capabilities? You're going to kick off on that. I think vegetarians are somewhat civilized. Do I know Rummy Ranger? Yes, I do. What jobs have you had in the past? Waiter, nightclub, bartender, person behind the bar, toilet cleaner. Thoughts on funded accounts? Don't know what you mean. Tell me more. Fortnite? No, it's not me. Buy a property or rent? Well, if you can buy it, you know, because they're always making it harder, aren't they, to buy? I'll tell you something. When I was 27, I bought my first property. It was 95% loan, mortgage, and the other 5% came from borrowing money from a personal loan. So it's 100% borrowed. You can't do that for love nor money now. But that was a property. It was a 2-bedroom apartment in Melina Place in St John's Wood. 2 bedrooms in 1997. You try and do that now, and that'd be worth millions. So you're a businessman. I never thought myself a businessman. What do you want your lasting legacy to be? That I helped a lot of people to be better at investing for the sake of their pensions, because that's what I know. So that's why. How do you find time to socialise and have friends while pursuing 3 degrees in success in finance? I don't socialise, and I don't have many friends. I have about 3 or 4 friends. I'm an introvert. I don't particularly care for friends. Never been good at making friends. So I have about 5 friends. I think I listed them earlier. Bhikkhu, Paresh, Pan. Oh crap, Nish. 4 friends. I took my son for a walk today. He's my best friend. He's 5. About my level IQ wise. Actually, he's cleverer than me. What did you major in at school? Maths, physics, chemistry, and I got the prize in all 3. I was really proud of that. How can I start a business? Have a look at tech2great.com. Tech2great.com. It shows you all the funding sources in the UK, and also how to. Oh, that's cute. I thought somebody said I'm cute. Got worried. How to become and funding sources in the UK. So that'll help you. How to stand out in early stage for your career. Learn to speak properly, public speaking, and learn to write well. That's how you'll stand out. And learn how to do good, useful prompts into Chat GPT. That'll help you stand out. Thanks, mate. Matt. Great. Wrong gender, mate. I'm fishing here. Can I speak Punjabi? No. My mother-in-law can. She's Punjabi, so she can. But I can't. Having said that, I can speak French, and I'm not French. What age to get married for men? Well, they say men mature later than women, so they should wait. My wife's 11 years younger than me, by the way. how many hours you work a week? Very few nowadays. So I normally get into the office about 10:30 because my son wants me to play with him in the morning, and then he says, Daddy, can you come home at 5? So I normally get home for about 5:30, but then I work from 7:30 till about 1 a.m. most evenings because I enjoy it. And I used to work 24/7 pretty much when I was in my 20s and 30s, which is not good. It'll ruin your health and your relationships. Okay, Pimpkin, Purdue, 11 years younger. Yeah, she's 11 years younger, mate. And if you saw her, you'd go, whoa. How do you get her? Who knows? Is private school an investment? Well, some of the data says that it doesn't make a difference. So, why are all banks closing stores? It's just efficient to do it online, and they're trying to hit the bottom line. I mean, look at banks' share prices, and you'll know why they're closing stores. Some of them are at the same price they were 10 years ago. Do I think back testing is important? I think walk forward testing is. So take the data and apply your strategy in real time going forward, and then you'll know. So I think it's more important than back testing. Back testing can show you anything. You're just curve fitting when you're back testing most of the time, unless you're a really good statistician. There are very few really good statisticians. What's the funding website? tech2great.com. tech2great.com. Please don't forget to follow and like these videos. And I'll tell you why, and I'll say it again, because although I've got 300 plus people on here, a lot of you will have changed on here. CBDC will happen. The reason it's important to have a lot of followers is I've noticed that that's what gets the Financial Times to write about me, or Investors Chronicle, or whatever, or give me speaking gigs, or TEDx. And I think speaking for Financial Times and doing a TEDx is, well, it's pretty cool. I care about it. And I think it's because I've got over 100,000 followers on TikTok, and I'm talking about finance. So I want more followers. Simple as that. Stupid, isn't it? You give a lot, thank you very much. Well, I get a lot back. I'm not doing it because I'm selfless. I'm selfish. I get dopamine hits. Don't underestimate dopamine hits. I mean, listen, don't underestimate dopamine hits. I get dopamine hits. Thoughts on Navinda Sarao. Have you read that book? The book was amazing. What was it called? Flash Crash. Guys, I recommend it. And if you don't do this, I use Audible, the Amazon thing, audiobooks. So I like to listen to audiobooks when I'm cycling to and back from the office. Audiobooks are great because who gets the chance to read now? So Audible is good. You can probably get them cheaper at some other pirate sites. But yeah, have a look at Audible. What does OBE mean? It means Officer of the Order of the British Empire. Yeah, it exists. We're bringing it back. Starting with us Indians. Where are you from in India? Karamsad, near Anand in Gujarat. What do your family think of my trading career? I don't think they're particularly impressed. I was supposed to be a barrister. I qualified. I started practicing. They don't know. I mean, what's this trader nonsense? What do you work on? You sell second-hand cars, Alpesh? I don't think they're particularly impressed about the trader thing at all. Fantastic. Got somebody else from Gosford. Alpesh, do you have any thoughts on euro dollar? I've not looked at it recently. I normally just trend follow based on algorithms we have. So it's based on that. Your family would love you, whatever you do. It is true. Advice for 18-year-old self. Worry less. But that's for me. Worry less. So you find your pros and cons, what you're good at, you drive those home, whatever God-given talents you have. And for me, I discovered belatedly, because I'm an introvert and I'm actually quite a shy person. So I discovered that my weaknesses were that I didn't like public speaking. So I had a teacher at school who forced me to do speech and drama and acting. And now when I go on stage and I do the BBC, I do CNBC or CNN or Sky News, as an introvert, that's not easy. And speaking on stage to parliamentarians or whatever, hosting events as I do. And by the way, if you look at my links in my bio and follow me on Telegram, you'll see I'll invite you to events that I sometimes host in Parliament, or networking events in the city that I now started hosting every month. And I post it on my Telegram channel, and the links are in the bio. And what I discovered is it's an act. I have to act. I can't be me and socialize, so I act. I just pretend I'm someone else. So I give talks in Singapore, Hong Kong, India. I'm just acting on stage, and it's exhausting. And I'm still in touch with that speech and drama teacher from when I was about 10, 11 years old, because I owe him so much. I had to act in order to be an extrovert. So important skill that. Do I play chess? I won the chess competition at school, but I was such an egomaniac and so good at branding from a young age. I created the chess competition at school so I could win it. That tells you something, doesn't it? Those of you who said, I like this guy, you're not going to like me anymore, are you? Image recognition application ideas, not for me, my friend. I don't know. Thank you for doing this. My pleasure. What's your ELO? I don't know what ELO means. Can you sell a pen? I love that scene. I'm still confused what it is. What was it? What did he say in the end when he said, can you sell a pen? It was like, I don't know. Do you need a pen? Here's one. Any tips on places to learn public speaking? YouTube. Start off with Ronald Reagan. Google 20 greatest speeches ever given. Print them out, double space them, practice delivering them. Then look at if there's videos of the people who gave them, or actors, if those people have died, who have reenacted those speeches, like Julius Caesar's, like Mark Antony's speech after Julius Caesar's death. Then practice it in your own room. And I did that. Where's the cigar? I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't eat meat. He was an actor too. Who's that? Who's an actor? What would you do if you were 18? Be more confident with women. I don't think I spoke to girls until I was about 16. Oh, Elo's a chess. Sorry, I'm not that good, mate, at chess. I mean, you know, Jay Shah. Too bad. Just been looking at Pavilion Partners accounts. No, you're looking at Luxembourg. We're a Luxembourg domicile fund. The UK is just an asset management company which We're a Luxembourg domicile fund. The UK is just an asset management company which occasionally receives funds. What's a good investment? S&P 500 ETFs, probably. Do I own a Schoffel? I don't know what a Schoffel is. When did you last cry and why are so? I think I saw a TikTok video on that one. Yeah, I don't have an opinion on Andrew Tate. I don't know why people keep asking me about him. No opinion on him whatsoever. Are you looking for a recruiter to recruit for your hedge fund? No, we're not recruiting at the moment. We're deciding what to do with the funds. We've sold our last set of assets. The funds, the private equity funds. So we have managed accounts, and we have Luxembourg domicile funds. We used to have Cayman, but for reasons I've given earlier, we had to close that down in 2008. And so at the moment, we're deciding whether or not we raise more capital. So I am, as my wife puts it, retired, I guess. Nothing better to do. So got to decide what to do, whether we raise more funds, and I don't want to raise any more funds, so I might just keep doing TikToks. Where's good to holiday in India? I love going to Kashmir. Every time I go to, I love Gulmarg, for instance, probably one of my favorite places in India. And Shimla is nice as well. How old am I? How old do you think I am? I'll tell you, I'm not being shy about it or anything. I suddenly feel I aged in the last 3 years. Isn't S&P really a pension? Yeah. But I don't know anymore. I mean, if you only give me that, then I've got to say, the S&P, my battery on my phone's going to run out soon, so I'll have to jump, or it'll just go dead as well on that. How can we make a free course? Then we want to help people who want to learn how to invest. We've got 2 free courses. What I did is I took the training we give our staff and create a free internship, because I kept getting people asking me for internships, and I said, well, if you're from a different part of the country or world, how are you going to get an internship? So we took the training we give our own staff and created 2 free programs. I wouldn't call them courses because they're not a course as such. They're just a series of lectures, and you get a certificate at the end, and it's all completely free. So we got interns from around the world actually, and it meant I could do virtual internships with them, and they'd follow me on Telegram, and they'd get what I'm looking at each day, and they'd get a certificate at the end, and their employers would write to us and say, look, has this person learned what they said they learned from you, because they put it on their LinkedIn? And I'd say, yeah, because here's the back end of the online program, and I'd show them that they'd learnt that. So that's how it worked. And it's all free, and you can download both sites. Have I ever been to Pakistan? I have. When I was about 4 or 5 years old with my father. We went by road from Leeds to India, and in those days you could do it. In about 1974-75 you could do it, and I posted pictures on my Instagram occasionally from that time. and not that I have memories of it, but I have the pictures that my parents took, or my dad took. And we went through Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, and in 74, 75, you could do that. What's roughly my net worth? Who knows? They say if you can count it, it's not worth talking about. 56, oh, thanks, mate. Listen, if somebody asks you, how old do you think I am? Aim low, not bloody high, not 56, jeez. Best trading strategy, momentum trading, I love it. That's what we do. Thank you. Param's coming with 48. Nah, I'm older than that, I'm afraid. I was 48 3 years ago. Best degree for hedge fund management, investment banking. Well, I got a degree in economics and politics, so I'm biased, I guess. I think law's a good degree generally for business, for anything. I think it's a good degree for pretty much anything. What's the momentum trade? What's momentum? Oh, trend following, buy low, sell high. It's all it is. You look for trends. And you know, Winton Capital, AHL do it. Have a look at Man AHL's website. Google Man AHL, and they teach you loads about what it is. They're very good. Opinion on financial advisors. I think they just spin a lot of conventional wisdom and then sell you funds which underperform. Don't they? Is working for HSBC good? Yeah. Fund. Well, look, if you're evaluating HSBC, you've got three bases on which to do it. Funds, or money they're going to pay you. Is it going to be fun, and is it going to be fulfilling? And you're going to weigh those three things. That's all it is. Okay? Long time no see. Yeah, I know. I've been busy. You just said 1970 regarding going from Leeds. No, I was born in 71. We went in 1974, 75 when I was about 4 or 5 years old by road is why. My dad was, it wasn't just me and my dad. There was about 4 or 5 other people. Went in a VW camper van for a wedding, a family wedding. And I think in 75 it was cheaper for 5 people to go by road. I think my dad had a spirit of adventure about him as well. So that's why. Bit weird, but I aspire to talk like yourself. Thank you. Thank you very much. Do you own many US stocks? Yes, I do own many US stocks. Absolutely. What do you think of chartered accountancy, ACA as a career? Look, if you're a chartered accountant, you're going to earn money, aren't you? You're going to earn good money. So what am I going to say? I'm going to say, yeah, fine, do it. If you were my son and said I wanted to be an accountant, good for you. But just make sure where you're going to get the fun and the fulfillment from. Fill those 2 holes as well. And you might do it because you might say, well, in the daytime, Dad, I'm going to be an accountant, but in the evenings, I'm going to be an opera singer or whatever. So make sure you get your fun and fulfillment elsewhere. BSc, Econ, or a BA. BA in what? What do you think of trading sterling yen? It's been really easy recently, sterling yen. If you look at it, it's been ridiculously easy. That won't last. So I know this because we've been doing it for the last few weeks. So yeah, which field is a good grad job in this market? Oh, whichever pays the most. Have a look at efinancialcareers.com and that should help you as well. Do you trade just fundamentals? No, never trade on fundamentals. I invest on fundamentals and trade on technicals. Do you think the banks are about to buy yen? I don't know about that. I just don't know. How can a retail trader momentum trade? Well, it's the same thing. Buy and sell. Have a look at the links in my bio. Have a look at my book, Mind of a Trader. It's free to download in the links in the bio. Mind of a Trader. And I've interviewed some of the world's leading hedge fund managers, which is how I got into this industry. Listen, I better go because it is late. Falls on crypto. Crypto is like modern art. Some of it's valuable, whether you like it or not, and the value sticks. A lot of it, value doesn't stick. People get bored. They think, oh, those multicolored dots are a bit crap. What were we thinking? And that's crypto. I think of psychology degrees. I find psychology fascinating. So my first book, Mind of a Trader, was the psychology of trading, because it was lessons in trading strategy, but it was about the psychology part. So I think psychology is fascinating. What field do you think will have the most unicorns? You know, I don't know, but I tell you the fields I'm involved in: cybersecurity, and obviously fintech, and I don't think cybersecurity and fintech will have the most. Cybersecurity, fintech, but I think nuclear fusion. I don't think it'll have many unicorns because only 1 or 2 will crack it. But nuclear fusion is the way to go. Career change. What would I suggest from an accountant? I'd suggest getting a lot of applications out there, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'd also think about a portfolio career of non-exec positions, but again, you know, it's going to be 100 applications you send out, and just same whether you're 18 or 55, don't be put off. You know, turn it into, well, this is exciting. I'm going to have a blank sheet of paper in front of me, and who knows what I'll take up. And it's a great skill you've had and a great experience. So, but you've got to get it out. You know, it might be non-exec positions for funds, could be anything. So, I would look at it in an exciting way, not apprehensive way, but just send out the numbers. It's 100 applications to get 2 interviews. Okay, am I happy? Well, they say that the one way to assure somebody becomes unhappy is to ask them if they're happy. Should I tell you a little story that I often tell? You see this ring? In olden days, a king who wanted to put his prime minister in his place said to the prime minister, in 30 days I want you to find me a ring which has inscribed within it words which, when a happy man sees it, becomes sad, and when a sad man sees it, becomes happy. Find that ring. It is somewhere in my kingdom. So the prime minister went out and he had 30 days in which to find it, otherwise he'd be humiliated by the king, which is what the king wanted. And in those 30 days the prime minister couldn't find it, and on return to the fortress, just before he entered, he saw, or he heard, somebody bashing rings, and he thought, this is my last chance. So he asked this ring maker, do you know of this mythical ring that the emperor says exists? And the ring maker said, yes, I have one. And the prime minister couldn't believe it. He thought, this guy must be lying. And the ring maker went behind and brought out the ring, and the prime minister saw it, and he was really sad initially, the prime minister, and he saw the ring and he read what was said inside, what was written inside it, and the prime minister said, oh my God, this is the ring I've been looking for. And he took it to the emperor, and the emperor looked at it, and the emperor at first, when he heard the prime minister found the ring, thought it can't be the case, because the emperor had made it up. It was a fool's errand. And the emperor read the inscription and smiled and realized that this was indeed the ring. And do you know what the ring said? Do you know what the words were inside the ring? And this too shall come to pass. That's what it was. So if you're sad, it'll make you happy, and if you're happy, it'll make you sad. So when you ask me, am I happy? You may well just make me sad, because it reminds me, and this too shall come to pass. So never ask somebody if they're happy, because you'll make them sad. Career change into law. If you're happy, absolutely, do it. If you'd be happier in law. Funds, i.e. money, is one reason you'll do it. Fulfillment or fun. If you can't do it for those 3 reasons, don't do it at all. Imperial or Durham for undergraduate economics. Imperial. You're in London and it's a big name. Can I have a tenner? Yes. Are you the same guy who wanted it earlier? 8k up, let's go 10k. What's 8k up? Is that, I can't have had 8k more. Oh, likes. I need followers, mate. Like schmikes. That's just dopamine hits. I get over that in 5 seconds. Give me the followers. They stay forever. Kidding. Okay. Look, the batteries are going to die any second, and that means this is going to cut off. How to move from investment banking to a hedge fund? Applications is all I know. Just look at what the hedge fund people are doing, what they're doing in the funds you want to work at. So pick Brevin Howard, Winton, Aspect. Pick those kinds of funds, the DE Shaw, the big names, and then see all the employees on LinkedIn and what are they doing. All the employees on LinkedIn and what are they doing. When you see the employees on LinkedIn and whatever they're doing, copy that as much as possible, and you should be able to get in. That's the route in. That will tell you what the route is. Have a look at LinkedIn at their job descriptions, and have a look at efinancialcareers.com. And those 2 things should help you get in. Would I recommend investing in the Swedish market? Actually, you're the second person to ask me today, oddly enough. So we do analyze Swedish stocks, and they do come up fairly strong fundamentally. The problem is liquidity. We can't get out at any size in those. Which ETF for long-term investing? Vanguard? Well, Vanguard's a provider of the ETF. The ETF will track an index, so it might be a Vanguard S&P 500. Vanguard is just the provider. It could be Barclays, it could be iShares, it could be anybody. It doesn't really matter. What about the Danish market? I don't know enough about it. I think liquidity would be the same problem. There are a few good companies, but liquidity is a problem. Is it too late to get into trading at 25? No, not at all at 35. Why would it be too late? Best sector of finance for grades? I'll have to come back to that. Favorite home cuisine? Favorite home cuisine? Well, anything my mum makes. My cousin, he is a phenomenal chef. Anything he makes, I'm rubbish at cooking. Anything my wife makes. Do you know what? When I'm hungry, and my wife makes something, it's amazing. I'm rubbish. I made her an arrabbiata. I made her an arrabbiata recently. What am I saying? Risotto. I made her a mushroom risotto recently, and it was really good. I really did do a good cuisine job there. Harry Potter, me or somebody else. What do you think of Australian Oops, I don't know Australia at all, I'm afraid. Thoughts on ESG? The data, listen, all of you are going to be asked in life, whether it's through social media or in jobs, about a narrative. We live in a world where people are very quick and easy to form opinions through whatever biases they might have. The first thing you should do in a job interview or just talking to a boss or a university interview is ask yourself, what's the data on this? First of all, that'll set you aside from 99% of the population as soon as you say, what's the data? Okay, so go for the data. Most people don't bother doing that. When you go for the data, you've got the ability to argue in a far more convincing manner than anybody else, because logic determines, data trumps narratives. Okay? So go for the data. So when you ask what's my opinion on ESG, the data suggests that it gives superior performance. There's lots of caveats and we'd have to discuss that data in more detail, but that's what it suggests. What do I mean by data? Google, look in the dictionary what data means. Numbers. What was, oops, missing stuff. Do you have any favorite Swedish stocks? I'd have to have a look. Swedish Match? No, I'd have to have a look. I can't remember. Best way to network. Somebody asked me that earlier. Best way to network. Social media. So LinkedIn articles and tag people you want to impress and hashtag the right people. The other way is get on stage. Develop a niche and get on stage, at these speaking events if you can. And YouTube videos on an area of expertise. But be mindful of your brand and the impression you want to create. So if you're and develop an expertise in a field that you find fascinating. Okay. Oh, one of the best people at this, amazing, Ali Abdaal. He got the top first in medicine at Cambridge University, and then you'll see his videos on YouTube, and he's got millions of followers. He got the top first at Cambridge University, and he's earning several million a year on social media, and he's happy and he's fulfilled, but he's doing it really well. So, it's ridiculous, isn't it? But that's the world we live in, and it's good. He is phenomenal. I'm a huge fan. YouTuber Ali Abdaal, yes. He's the real deal. And I'll tell you how I know he's the real deal. I watched one of his videos on how he got a first, and I thought, okay, he's got one. He's not BSing, and he got a top one. You could tell. But he loves what he does, and you've got to find what you love. So best way to network, he networks. And he hasn't met the people he networks with, but he networks. How to communicate well, practice. Practice, practice, practice. I used to keep a notebook of written and spoken phrases which just resonate well, that persuade people. If there's something which just brings you almost to tears when it's said. So anything by Aaron Sorkin. So if you want to learn how to be a better public speaker or a better writer, watch The West Wing and watch The Newsroom and see the nuances of his speaking, the cadence, the pace, the tone. Get books on speech writing. They get you ahead. Do I have a course? I have a free internship, which is like a course. I have a free internship within my firm, and you can get a certificate at the end, and it's all free, and it allows you to. But that internship doesn't teach you about public speaking, though. I suppose it should. Everyone keeps asking about my net worth. What's the obsession with my net worth? Zero. I'm worthless. The West Wing and what, please? Newsroom. The Newsroom. Robert Greene, yeah, he's good. And also the 50 Laws of Power and the 51st Law of Power. I read them when I was young. I also read Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, when I was at university. It's not bad. I could listen to you, thank you. Oops, I think somebody said something really nice then. I could listen to you talk all day. So, oh, thank you very much. See, that's why I did it. Who else is going to say to me in a room, hey, I could listen to you talk? It's phenomenal. It makes somebody feel worthwhile, especially as you get older. Trust me, as you get older, you feel more and more useless. Am I religious? People have asked this before, so I guess it's important. I believe that fidelity to country and family come before fidelity to faith. So family, country, then faith. If faith is the most important thing in your life, you're a fanatic and you're dangerous, is what I believe. How can we apply for internship? It's free, and it'll be open to you. Go to the links in the bio, and it'll say, there's a link in there which says free internship. There's one which says free book. So it's all in there. Those internships are physical presence. No, the reason it's not physical presence is, first it started during COVID. Secondly, our offices are small. We pay a fortune for them as well. So I really couldn't put people in. Plus, I never know where I'm going to be. But however, the physical part of the internship is this. I now do city networking once a month, where you can network physically with hedge fund managers, myself, about 80 people in a room every month. So there is that physical part of it. So there is a bit of physical networking. But we give you exercise, so people will pitch me stock ideas. But it gives you tuition week by week as well. And that tuition ends up with a certificate, and we've had people get jobs at JP Morgan saying thank you very much, it's because of your internship that we did it. And I said it's completely free, and you'll also get daily Telegram updates of what I'm reading, so you'll get all that education all totally for free. 18-year-old to make money, best way for an 18-year-old to make money. For me it was investing, but when I was 18 the privatization stocks were going on, so I can't say that now. I'd have to, let me come back to that. It's a good question. Best way for an 18-year-old to make money. Do I focus on equity or income? I guess a bit of both. Cash flow is, and they're interconnected of course, because cash flow is a measure of valuation for the capital growth and the equity. Can I work at your firm for free? Essentially that's what the internship is. You're working for my firm for free. So those internships, not for everybody, they are for everybody. The internships are for everybody. But let me put it this way, let's say you apply for the internship, you get on, it's for everybody. And the reason I wanted to do that is I wanted to make it completely open. I didn't want it to be based on, oh, you went to the right university, you know the right person, because I think that's unfair. So if you go to the links in the bio, or go to alpeshpatel.com/links, you'll find it there. What age did you start this? I was 12 years old when I borrowed £100 from my aunt and bought some bonds. That was it. Arsenal or Tottenham, neither, though my best friend supports Arsenal, and they lost 3-1 yesterday, didn't they? They're going to choke. Man City are going to clinch it again. Favourite whiskey? I don't drink. I'm teetotal and a vegetarian. Can you do it part-time? Do what part-time? Sorry, I missed the earlier part. Do you believe in leveraging with debt? No, don't do it. I mean, there's no other way to leverage than debt, but I think what you mean is having negative equity, basically not having money to cover that debt if you were to lose it. My family leveraged with debt and built businesses. They bought nightclubs, hotels, restaurants, nursing homes, a company which was floated on the Mumbai Stock Exchange. I couldn't do any of that. It's not for me. Does your fund use CFDs? Yes, that's how we trade equities. So we have several funds, in actual fact, private equity, and it's managed accounts on the hedge fund side. It used to be, yeah, we used to be in the nightclub business, called Orbit. If you look up Orbit on YouTube, you'll see videos of that. The internship, it's alpeshpatel.com/intern part-time. Oh yeah, sorry, yes, you can do that part-time. You can take your own time over it. I structured it that way because think about it. Imagine you're a kid who is looking after your parents, or you've got a job to just make ends meet. How can I say your internship with me has to be full-time when somebody else is lucky enough to have rich parents who are well connected and can pick up the phone and say, Alpesh, can my son be an intern with you? Full-time, he can do it and doesn't, you know. That's not fair. So yeah, it's part-time. You take as much time as you want as well. Tips for a good CV. Run it through ChatGPT. Run it through ChatGPT for a CV. Trading only works with sufficient capital. You're exactly right. Look, for everybody on here, don't trade. Okay, it's the easiest thing. What's the data I've got? The data I've got is I don't know you, but I do know 60% to 70% of people lose money trading. So my only advice can be don't trade. That's just following the numbers. Okay, what A levels did I do? Mathematics, physics, and chemistry. And I got the school prize in all three. I went to Full Net Boys School. Before that, I went to Armley Middle School. And before that, I went to Christchurch School in Armley in Leeds. I also went to schools in Wales, Monkton House School, and in India for a short while. So I've been to schools in a lot of different countries. The Baptries, definitely. Please follow, if you wouldn't mind, and like. Have a look at my YouTube channel where the videos are a lot longer. Also have a look at the links. As I said, download the books as well. Have a look at the links. 458 Spider. No, I've got a friend who's got one, but cars were never my thing when I was little. My mum always used to say all the other boys wanted cars and I just didn't. I want to say what Joey said in Friends, I was too busy dating, but I wasn't even doing that. although I was lucky to not have problems in that area. But anyway, favorite composer, Rachmaninoff. Where's my company based? 84 Brook Street on Mayfair. We're next to Claridge's. And in Luxembourg, the funds are domiciled in Luxembourg, so that's where the assets are. I'm not a golfer. I never played golf. We couldn't afford it when I was at school. I mean, I come from a family couldn't afford a bunch of golf clubs, so I didn't play golf. Rare you hear a success story out of Armley. I don't know. Who's that author? Famous author? Who's out of Armley? Who do you trade for? I don't trade for anyone. Do I speak German? Ich kann ein bisschen Deutsch sprechen. Ja. My business partners are German. I got the German prize at school as well. Fulneck was my school. We produced one prime minister and one Nobel Prize winner. What's my biggest luxury? Oh, that's a good question. My biggest luxury when I treat myself is I like eating at Kai, Kai, in Mayfair. It's a restaurant, so that's a bit of a luxury and a treat. What else is a luxury and a treat? Millefeuille. It's a big luxury. Millefeuille, that's a luxury. What colour are my socks? Boring black. I don't go for all that crazy colour stuff in socks. You know, they're black. I like rich guys. It literally says HMRC on TikTok. I like rich guys. Oh shit. Flying business, first class. I guess that's a luxury. Yeah, it's a luxury. But I use points when I can to upgrade. So it's not, luxury implies that I've spent money to do it, and I've not spent money to do it. I've used points, which you could say, well, you earned the points by spending money. So yeah, sort of. What comedy do I like? Yes, Minister. I love and Carry On. It's a brilliant question. Thank you so much. Yes, Minister is just, if you want to learn about politics, you've got to watch Yes, Minister. And I love the Carry On movies because they are such social history documentaries, the Carry On movies. So we can become profitable from my free materials? No, you can't. It'll just stop you losing money. Do you know any lawyers that could... I missed that. Thoughts on credit cards for people in their 20s? Try and avoid credit cards, my friend, please. As my grandmother said, if you've earned it, you can spend it. If you haven't, then don't. Thoughts on a career in consulting instead of IB? Get the work experience. Get the work experience, okay? What will you have most? Funds, fun, and fulfillment. Funds, fun, fulfillment. Okay? Funds, money. Fun, fulfillment. Favorite hobbies? I love cycling. So on a nice warm day going through Richmond Park or Laos. Laos is the best country in the world to cycle. Okay, if you've never been to Laos, you've got to go to Laos. Okay, is Squire Patton Boggs good? Is that from Carry On? It is, isn't it? It's from Carry On at your convenience. Will pursue a PhD? Will I pursue a PhD? No, I'm just too old to study now. Unless they give me an honorary one. I've published 18 books, published by the Financial Times, Palgrave Macmillan. Nobody's given me a PhD. Can you believe it? So that's something I'd like. I've got a friend who became an honorary professor, for God's sake, and he puts it everyone on his social media goes, professor, and I'm like, prof, pack it in, it's honorary. Low risk investment advice. Cash? No. Low risk investment might be contrary, you know, investing is risky, so I can't tell you low risk. S&P 500 for 10 years, bet on America. This will be a year. Thank you, my friend. Why did I leave law? I found it boring. My first case was at Bow County Court. It was helping a dear old lady get access to a property. And I won, the other side didn't turn up. So I won. It helps, doesn't it, if the other side doesn't turn up. And she offered me £5. She said, son, thank you so much. And I knew I was doing something useful, meaningful, helpful, and I quit. It's just boring. It's not what I wanted to do. So I left the law. It just wasn't. Favourite biscuit, bourbons. And you know they are linked to that family behind the bourbon, to the bourbon biscuits. I love them as well. I love millefeuille as a dessert. Early bird, late night. Come on, mate. Can you tell? Late night. So many questions. I'm sorry, I'm missing so many of them. Early bird, night buys. You could interrupt lead to progression in the company. More important than working in my company. We're tiny, mate. You don't want to work for me. Okay, I get worried when people. I get worried when people say, "Can you invest in my business?" Because I think, shit, if you're asking me, you must be desperate. Okay, so what I'd say is, I've had people who've done my free internship who've gone on to get jobs at JP Morgan, and I've posted those reviews on my LinkedIn when they've said it, because I was shocked that it helped them that much, and they've written back. So go work at JP Morgan, don't work for me, because I keep telling everybody we ever hire. Do I like Richard Branson? Yeah, not when my Virgin broadband goes down, then I think, what an idiot. Coca-Cola is a safe investment, I'm not sure. Best signet ring to buy. I don't have a signet ring, it's not a signet ring, I explained earlier. It's a stone, because ever since I wore it from the age of 12, I started acing all my exams. Is Amazon still worth it? I think so. So I own it as well. How do we get internships? Look at my links in my bio and follow for more. But if you look at the links in the bio, the internships there, downloading the books is their favorite triple. Diet Coke. I'm teetotal. Diet Coke. Love it. Have you sold your soul? Not yet. Thoughts on BBC documentary on Modi? I didn't watch it. I watched a couple of snippets and stuff. What do you think of stocks rallying in CBDCs? I think it's going to come about. Should I invest in PayPal? It's got whacked at the moment, so I'm not sure if you should. I'm not sure. I can't say. I still own it, but I'm not sure if you should at all. Favorite investment right now? I love Microsoft. 2 type leverage on Microsoft, but that's just me. And it's so boring. You might think, hang on, you get paid big bucks to invest in Microsoft? Are you kidding me? Yeah, I know. Great, isn't it? Isn't battery gonna? I know. Thanks, mate. Isn't your battery gonna? Please don't forget to like and follow for more. I'll be most grateful. Have a look at the links in the bio. alpeshpatel.com/links. Do I offer apprenticeships? Yes. The links are in the bio. Have you been to Nepal? Not yet. Can you make money day trading? No, you can't. Some people can, but it's a minority, and therefore it's better for me to say, if only a minority can do something, then it's better for me to say no. When are you next live? I don't know. Just depends when I've got some time and I feel like it. So it's going to go dead any second now, so please follow. We've got over 100,000 now. I'm giving a talk at Financial Times. Please follow. We've got over 100,000 now. I'm giving a talk at Financial Times. I'll post it on my Telegram channel. So if you're on my Telegram, which the links are in the bio, you'll get the invitation to my Financial Times talk and my city networking in London that I do every month. And that is there's a bunch of hedge fund managers, lawyers, investment bankers you can network with. It's on the Strand. We do that virtually every month. I'll let you know the dates of the next one on my Telegram channel. So go on there. And the links to that are in the bio. The links are in the bio. Okay, thanks very much. My pleasure. Thank you all. Been on quant trading, go ahead and do it. Listen, I better go now because I've been on for well over an hour. But please like and follow, as I said, for more. Because believe it or not, I keep getting asked to TEDx talks. Give TEDx talks and Financial Times conferences every time you guys keep following me and doing it. So really grateful. Thank you all for being on here. And yeah. So thank you. Oh, and I'm a Leeds United supporter. Now you're all going to hate me, aren't you? I know, it's the way it happens. Thanks, guys. Bye.